In this lecture, we'll be taking a look at relative selectors in CSS. So in HTML page that we have, you can see that there is a relation. For instance, anything within this section tag is child tag of this section. So in terms of this, you can see that section contains form and then form contains label. Now if I have to target in this relative manner, CSS does provide me a way to achieve it. And to do that, what we will do is over here in our site.css, we will take first thing as main section. Let's copy this, and here we'll be writing it main section, which contains a form, and form contains a label. Now here you can include font weight, let's say. So we'll say font weight needs to be bold. Let's save this and run it. So here you'll notice search phrase is coming as bold. Now there's one issue with this. This is very rigid in nature. For instance, if you choose to move anything from this section and you move it somewhere else, or you move this label outside this form, there are chances that this CSS will break. Now there's one more way which is a bit flexible, and it says that anything which resides inside this main section should have this styling. To do that, what we'll be doing is, let's copy this whole thing, and the only change that we'll make now is we'll remove all these rigid dependencies. So here you can see we are having main section and then we are saying label. So it means that if main section contains a label, make its font weight bold. So I can just go and comment this out, and here I can have it in this way. And you should not confuse with the other approach that we had over here. Here you can see we have a comma, header, footer, and comma. So this is something else. So it's targeting two different elements, and here we are establishing a relationship or a hierarchy which says that if main section contains a label, make its font weight bold. So let's save this and now refresh our page. You will not see any difference, but you will see the result is exactly the same over here. And let's go to this element label, inspect it out. So here we have label, and here you can see the styling has been applied to it, font weight bold. And there you go. You can check it out over here as well. Now that's one way of applying CSS to a hierarchy. Now you will notice that in our HTML page we also have a couple of other input elements. Let's try and provide styling to each one of them. So here in our CSS file, we'll be targeting main section and then the different input types that we have. For instance, here we have input type text. So to target that, we'll write type is equal to, and then here we'll specify its type text. You can also specify similarly for type password, and here what we'll be doing is we'll be specifying the width of this. Let's set the width to 100 pixels and save it. Now if I go and refresh our page, you'll notice the width of this has been reduced now. Now let's go ahead and write something for our button as well. To do that, we can see its type as submit. So what we'll be doing over here in our styling, we'll be copying this whole stuff to start with, and then here we'll be pasting it, and next we'll be changing the type text to type submit, and here we'll be specifying few attributes for that button. To start with, we'll say background color, and you can choose a color over here. For instance, here you can see saddle brown, and then we can go and write the color for the text that the button contains. So we can have it as white or white smoke. Let's go ahead with that. And then we will have the border radius. This we have been using quite frequently now. So border radius, let's give it 5 pixels, and then padding 5 pixels, and margin. Here we'll be exploring margin top. So if you just have to specify one value, margin top, you will use this one, and that will be all for this button. Now let's save it and run our page. And here you can see the search button is now having the CSS applied, and if you select this input type, you will see what CSS is being applied on it. and if you go to computed, you'll be able to see all these settings that we have specified on this particular button, the margin, border, padding and everything. So that was relative selectors in CSS.